I'm sure you've seen these sliced beef short ribs at Korean supermarkets. This cut of meat is actually used for 엘에이갈비. Yes, you heard correctly, 엘에이갈비. In Korean cooking, we use and eat a lot of galbi, but 엘에이갈비 is actually called that for the place the cut originated from. And this type of 엘에이갈비 was supposedly found in LA, where Korean immigrants would make this. Today we're cooking 엘에이갈비. We have one medium-sized white onion that I'm going to slice very thinly. Some people like to puree their onions. I like to slice them just because I like to grill my onions along with my meat. This is optional. Here we have our meat. As you can see, they're sliced very thinly, where traditional Korean galbi has a very thick bone where the bone isn't sliced. So I've washed and dried my ribs just because I wanted to get any excess blood out. And because I don't want to do more dishes, I'm going to put the seasonings for my marinade directly into the bowl with my meat. A lot of people like to make the marinade separately. You can totally do that, but for time and dishwashing purposes, I'm just putting everything in the same bowl. So our marinade is very simple. Every family has a different recipe. I've added minced garlic, salt, black pepper, sesame oil, cooking wine, oligodang, and my family's secret recipe. That is Coca Cola. In traditional recipes, we would use Korean pears, apples, as well as onions to sweeten our marinade, but my family always used Coke, and what it does is it really tenderizes the meat. The meat becomes so soft and tender on the inside. One other reason that my family would use Coke is because you don't have to marinate it for longer. If you marinate your meat in Coke for too long, then it becomes kind of too soft, which you don't want. You want your meat to hold up when you're grilling. And that was perfect for my family because we would marinate the meat in the morning and then we would grill it in the afternoon. I've tried pineapple juice as well as pureed kiwis, but I always come back to Coke. There's just something about Coke in my 엘에이갈비 marinade that just tastes so good and reminds me of my childhood. Then we add scallions, soy sauce, and then you mix everything together because you want to create a nice marinade. Make sure to completely cover and submerge your meat in the marinade. I've added my sliced onions, mix it all in, and then into the refrigerator it goes. If your meat isn't completely submerged in the marinade, I recommend just pouring more Coke. You don't want to add more soy sauce because that makes it too salty. You don't want to add water because you don't want to water down your seasonings. So Coke is the perfect option for when your meat isn't completely submerged in the marinade. We want to do this because we want our meat to be nice and marinated. This is the meat that we usually grill. At least my family would usually grill 엘에이갈비. But for those who don't have a grill or who just want to cook it at home, you can cook it on a fry pan. But when you do, I recommend putting oil. You don't want to add your meat to a cold pan, so what I like to do is I like to heat up my pan before I place my galbi in. One thing though to keep in mind is that because your pan is so hot and you have oil, you're putting meat that has marinade on it, it will kind of explode. So be careful when you're cooking it indoors. You want your meat to be almost burnt, and because these are very thinly sliced, these cook very quickly. And ta-da! Our 엘에이갈비. Put a little more sesame seeds. Look at that! People like to cut off the meat off the bone and then eat from the bone. And there's some people who don't clean the bone, and that's a waste of meat. Your bone should always look like this. The end. Thank you for watching. What do you call a cow that falls asleep during the day? A bulldozer.